Hi, friends. Whew. We had another real solid day of work today, and I found something came through this morning in meditation, and I kind of immediately recognized it as something that was really kind of key to maybe my own learning, I've been amazed at how this process has just given me such an incredible sense of movement, an incredible sense of traveling. I mean, it's not unlike certain other projects that I've done where I feel like, you work on them for a few weeks, 3, 4, 5 weeks, whatever it is. And then afterwards you're like, it feels like an entire lifetime. It feels like your life before the project was a different lifetime. I'm having that in a big way. And what keeps amazing me is it's almost like I'm constantly being asked to take one step further, or to internalize the intention that I've set for myself in a slightly deeper way. It's just endlessly advancing, and it's advancing at it's kind of the pace of the advancement that I'm most, I suppose, impressed is the word, or inspired is another word by. But there's also, it's mostly just a sense of being amazed that the universe can do this. It's like having a seat in the front row of evolution. And it's really cool. It's just really cool. And what I'm noticing is that it's not so, the reflection is so profound, not only because of my own experience, but because of how my own experience is endlessly being advanced by seemingly external circumstances. It's almost as though the entire universe is conspiring to serve me. Now, I don't mean that in a kind of like, I'm the center of the universe, my ego is the most important thing in the universe kind of way. I just mean that because I'm looking, I don't know how I mean it, I guess. I don't know how to put it into words, but I just feel infinitely served by the process of the universe. And it's incredible. And so what came through today, the thing that I've now talked about for almost 5 minutes without actually saying, is I was sitting in meditation and I had this thought come through. It was about inner work, and it was about a little bit coming out of what I talked about yesterday, and noticing which conversations and which kinds of things draw me away from my core intention. And that was something that, again, I picked up on today as we were working. I just noticed, when do I get pulled out of that intention, that the intention being to serve everyone here and to create healing, essentially, to create healing for anybody anybody in this room, starting with that, and myself included, and ultimately reaching way beyond the room, because we're creating a piece of art that's going to be seen by many, many people. And so we're only serving that too. But so again, what draws me out of that intention has been something that's been on my mind, as it's just been on my radar to watch for, because it still happens. And so when it happens, I'm trying to identify what some of the things are that I do, my particular ways of going off track, so that I can hopefully, clock them a little sooner. But anyway, now I've talked for another minute about the thing without actually telling you what it is. It's worth it, I promise. It is that the thought that came through, the insight that came through, or the image was, when we are in a circumstance of service and of healing, and if we can identify people or groups of people, or even sometimes circumstances, but a lot of times it's people who are somehow needing our help, the best thing we can do in the creative, as a component of that creative process, is to hold the possibility for them that they will persevere, that they will rise to the occasion, that they will shine. Whatever that means. That's a kind of, I'm sort of like imposing maybe some ideas about what that would look like for them. But what really came through was holding possibilities. Holding possibilities for others is one of the greatest acts of service we can possibly perform. Because it takes us out of ourselves. It takes us into that space. It's completely compatible with, I would say it's integral to what I've been saying is my intention for all along in this process, which is to engage in it as a process of healing. And it's the thing that I recognized it today as the thing that brings me back to my center. Because inevitably in the creative process, you're having conversations, you're either hitting the necessary challenges, the necessary creative friction of creating something new, and creative friction is absolutely a positive thing. There's simply you don't move without that. That's how everybody's perspective changes. It's how everybody's perspective evolves, is through friction. It's by rubbing up against other perspectives that are different, that we notice, oh, I had not seen that. It's literally the learning process. The learning process is the process of going through friction, leaning into new territories where inevitably there's going to be some of the unexpected, and where the direction that we think we want to travel might end up being, we might end up realizing, oh wait, now that someone or two or three people say this, I feel very differently about what I said 1 minute ago. I actually want to go a different direction, or whatever it is. But as we do that, we're constantly. This is again kind of like tying back to what my recognition was from yesterday. those are moments when I can get pulled into a sense of focusing on the thing to be done, the thing to be fixed, the problem with the play, the moment to be negotiated, whatever it is, right? Whether it's the music or the staging or the lyrics or the work or the script or the whatever, the technical elements. There's 100 zillion different things it could be, but those friction moments are the ones where I can get pulled into, oh, here's the problem. Now let me go, and I become drawn into that mindset that's where my focus needs to be. And it's not. That's what I'm learning. And it's not because those problems don't need solving. They absolutely do. It's just that narrowing my gaze to perceive the problem, to perceive only the problem, maybe let me say, it's almost like then the problem gets to set the terms of its own solution. And that's not how we solve problems. If you let the problem set the terms of its solution, you're kind of saying circumstances are more powerful than my infinite consciousness. Which, when you say it that way, it's pretty obvious that that's not the case. But that's still a very seductive perspective. It's easy to get drawn into that. It's easy to feel it's easy to look where the problem is and then try to fix it. And all of a sudden, the terms of my own psychic reality have been stipulated to me by the exterior, for one thing, and by a specific problem for another thing. And so then I am enslaved to something for no other reason than that I gave up my center. I gave up my core to this issue. And so, kind of then taking that realization forward into, what is my higher intention, and I keep for myself really both investigating and doing my best to surrender to what's the higher purpose that's being worked out through this project, right? In this process, what's the purpose that I might be able to glimpse it, but I presume that I can't see all of it. I presume that I'm only ever conscious of a part of that higher purpose. But as I leaned into today and leaned into I think kind of stacking the recognitions of the last couple of days, what came through was just so clear. Hold the possibility of transcendence for everyone, for anyone and everyone. And that is it's like a snap back to the center. It's like whatever I happen to be doing, snap. It snaps me back to the center, and all of a sudden I'm serving again. I'm not. Then my higher consciousness, my own inner being that I also may only be partially aware of, but all of a sudden I'm manifesting. I'm manifesting wisdom, and I'm tapping into something that is infinite and that has creative solutions to problems that may not even that just simply would never occur if I were staring at the problem itself. Holding possibilities. That's the thing. And it's not just that every time that something comes up, I assume, oh, this person needs to get over this problem. I hold out I hold out the possibility that they'll get over this problem. It's kind of like a combination of trust that everything's already fine. And then if and when we see people who are experiencing limitation, it's knowing that there's a beyond that. Knowing and then trying to see it for them, trying to see it with them, but also for them, with them in the sense of we're not trying to impose anything. We're listening to them. We're trying to be in resonance with them, but at the same time for them, because it may be unclear to them where they're going and where this is headed and what that transcendence might look like, And it's not necessarily that we have the answer. It's that we, within our own psyche, offer the possibility that they will grow. It's like a knowing. We know they will grow beyond this. We know they will persevere. They will rise to the occasion. They will rise. They will shine. So that was really helpful to see today. That really got me to a place of, it's like an additional tool that I have now in my own arsenal of when I do become embroiled in the problem, it's something tangible to return to. And that's important. It's important to have something, not simply vaguely to know, oh, I'm not supposed to be caught in the problem. Okay, I don't want to be, what am I, because that's kind of paralyzing. But having something really tangible to come back to, here's the center of this. Here's the center of this. Here's what the core of this process is about. It just felt really powerful to have that. Again, it was just like sitting in meditation, bing, and it just pinged into my head, and I was like, oh, whoa, that's big. So that's where I am today, folks. This conversation is a beautiful reflection of that, because I feel that happening both ways in this post and in this engagement that I receive and that I give and receive here. So I'm infinitely grateful to you, as always. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.